Hey, we're back here at Resource Radio. By the way, vets, here at Vets on Media, we're really big on veteran causes. And I want to let you know that Vets on Media, the people that put on the website here for us to do our show, they've partnered with ECS to offer a free credit consultation and discounts for all veteran and military personnel. So if you need more information, go on over to vetsonmedia.com and click on the ECS logo for more information. All right, guys, we're back. That was kind of a nice segue there with the smartphones. And now that 80% of the market is being consumed by Android, we all know that Apple kind of stands on their own on a little pedestal with we don't get viruses. And in general, that's the case. But Android is a little different. And because lots of people write apps for those, there is a danger of getting viruses. And on top of that, the Android market does not scan and does not have to have any kind of approval for their app makers. So to me, I think that's where Google's lacking, and I think they really need to step that up. In Apple Store, you're guaranteed not to get a virus because it's all checked out. It does make it a little more difficult, but they got more apps, so obviously it's not hindering their production of apps. So I am going to turn this over to Tomas because he has some information about the Android, how to stay safe, and things like that to not get a virus, because you can essentially ruin your phone, right? I mean, if you get one of these,
you can wipe out all your photos, your numbers, your texts. I mean, it'll just, and then it'll start sending emails as you. I mean, it'll just take
and text
over.
Messages. I read
and text messages.
That's crazy, man.
Yeah, it has complete control of the phone, so they can write it to do whatever they want.
So what does it actually do? I mean, how do you get it? What can people avoid or not do?
Yeah, well, let me just throw out a number. You said 80% is what their market share is, right, of the Android. Well, that's also the percentage of people who are writing viruses. They're 80% of them are sending them right to the Androids. So a good way is, I believe, in most companies now that provide antivirus on desktops also are offering it on the smartphones. Most of them, I think, are free. At least
I use Lookout. Lookout's free.
Yeah, it's free. There's a lot of good free ones out there, so just install and put it on. Sometimes it'll make your phone run a little slower, but better that it's running.
That was why I took mine off, because in a year and a half it didn't catch. I mean, it scanned it and never found anything.
Right.
And I think because I just use my phone for a phone,
right?
So I don't get crazy on the apps. I download the ones I need, and that's it. And so, but with an iPhone, I could certainly see different.
Right, and as you say, you have the older Android. So any of the newer ones with the bigger processors, you're probably not going to even feel it on there. And it's better to have the running phone than a phone that's now toast and you got factory reset and hopefully you backed up your information somewhere in the cloud.
Backup.
You can get it back.
What's this mysterious word, backup?
Very important backup. Yeah. Well, I mean, in any Android phone.
But does anybody ever do it? No.
Well, in any Android phone, if you connect it to your Gmail account, it's sending all your contacts and emails and stuff are all being in the Gmail
which is great.
Cloud, which is absolutely great.
Unless you're a conspiracy theorist and you don't like that whole, everybody. And really, there's a little bit of legitimacy there.
There's absolutely. I mean, Facebook changing their privacy policy to say any photo we now own.
Right.
Anything you post is ours to reuse. But they just lost that case.
Oh, they did?
Yeah.
Because I heard about
where they were
case.
using pictures of people in ads and stuff, and they sued them and said, I believe they won.
That's their intellectual right.
They won like $25 per person or something. You know how those class actions
They can claim they were a model for Facebook.
The only person making the money in the class action is the lawyers.
Right. Exactly.
We're making $15-20.
And they made $140 a person off there. Yeah. That's how it works.
Yeah, having my Android linked to the Google Cloud services is really one of my favorite features, is because when I moved from my old phone to my new phone, all my contacts were there automatically once I signed in and brought it all in. And it was so simple that I was just blown away by it was already done for me. I didn't have to do any setup because it pulled settings. It even knew what apps were on my old phone and downloaded
kind of iPod-ish.
Which I didn't really like that so much because I was going to try to go for like a clean start there.
Right.
And when I saw it started pulling down apps, I was like, well, I mean, I originally pulled them down for a reason, so it's not that bad of a thing. But it was just shocking how much it stored up in the cloud and how it tried to give me the same exact experience just on my new device.
Yeah, it's very nice.
Well, there's a lot of mystery to people because the cloud has become kind of the key phrase for people to be using about stuff, and I don't think people really know what it is. Can you give us Brian Murphy is our tech guru guy at Xpleo. He does all the stuff for integration. He does all the back end, all the coding, and everything else. So this is his question: is there like I I lost my train of thought.
A good definition of the cloud?
Yes. Tell us how that exactly works as far as encryption and safety is more just surface level stuff.
Well, the cloud is really just storing it on the internet. It's taking your data and pushing it up on someone's server. And if you don't own that server yourself, like for example with Google, then Google owns it. And when you initially sign up for any of these services, there is a long terms of service contract that, if you're curious, those are out there published to find out exactly what the privacy policies are and what goes along with that. But the way I look at it is there are so many people doing it. You're really just such a small number in a whole sea of things that no one's going to be directly targeting you. I'm not even worried about online advertising because I know that just automatic scanning for keywords where if I get emails about the newest car coming out, then I might see direct targeted ads about cars. A lot of people are upset about that. I personally am not very upset about that.
It's a little unsettling though, because I did it this week when I rented that car. By the way, I rented a beautiful 2014 Mercedes-Benz E350 convertible black. It was beautiful. When I started looking that car up online to check out the specs and the horsepower and stuff, 5 minutes later I'm on Facebook. E350 on the side on the average. I was like, you guys are just reading my mind. I mean, it's insane how quick. It was one page click, and I've already got Mercedes-Benz buy here, push this button.
Yeah, and that's called retargeting on the advertising, where they can track you around with that. And that's something we as a marketing company even do because it's really helpful, because if you're looking at those cars, then you want more information and keep it fresh for you. But as a consumer, I actually like that, because then I'm looking at advertisements that are relevant to me versus seeing just random, come watch our next basketball game.
Or refinancing those stupid commercials that you always see.
Refinancing a car or something medical related where, I'm not sick, I'm perfectly healthy, and I don't care to see that, where if it's showing me things that I've already looked at, that I think
possible sale. It's like point of sale at the register.
Right. And even, related businesses, if they're pulling those keywords, I might be interested.
Right.
And it's a whole lot better of the alternative when things weren't targeted, where things were just flashing around and here's mortgages, here's web hosting, here's just a random
it was just ads.
Spattering of ads.
Just and not targeted.
Yeah. So I personally prefer that, but the cloud really just means keeping things up on.
So people are essentially their data's safe. They shouldn't be paranoid about somebody sniffing around their pictures at the server end of the.
It's only as safe as the company holding it
and their encryption used, right?
Yeah, and most of the time, it's probably not encrypted. Encryption.
Oh, it's not.
Encryption has overhead, and encryption comes with its own set of problems.
That I did not know.
Where you have to do key management and keep passwords. So if you forget your password and it's encrypted, it's gone. So most of the time, especially, we get calls all the time. Can you tell me what my password is? Can you reset my password?
That I know you can't. Yeah.
And that's possible. In some ways when it's one-way encrypted, but some of the more heavy-duty encryption systems, depending on what you're using, it's gone forever, and you just lost your data.
So the cloud is not really that secure. I mean, the data transfer might be encrypted.
But we're talking about public free clouds, right? That's what he's talking about. There's a whole other industry of
like
private
Carbonite and
Carbonite and just there's actually a ton of cloud companies coming out right now that are like Dropbox. If you pay for these accounts, you're now signing
an expected level of service, right? Okay.
And actually, people like Carbonite do encryption.
And what about Google? What about
not
their
only
paid
from
Google?
You to them, but also when the data is on their servers.
Yeah, Google. It really depends.
I think you get 2 gig free or something.
Yeah,
with
2
Google.
gigs free.
Yeah, especially on the search side, I've seen if you're signed in, it's encrypted. If you're not signed in, it's not. It's just public because it's anonymous.
Sure.
So I see it both ways. Google is moving a lot more towards the encryption faster than some of these other cloud-based companies. So they are one of the safer ones out there.
Right. But your terms on the clouds that you pay for, those are your data. Nobody owns it. It's all yours. You're just renting server space basically.
Yeah. It's a
and what
storage
you put on
unit.
there is up to you. That company doesn't own it. Unlike the Googles and
because it's free.
The free ones
are free. That's you're giving up those.
Are almost always
That's a good
advertising
point.
sponsored, which is why you see all that advertising with it. And and sometimes paying just the like Pandora, for example.
Right.
I stepped up to the.
$40, right?
Did you go to the upgrade?
Yep.
Yeah.
So it's $3 a month, and now I don't get advertising. And for the amount of music I listen to, and it hooks to my home stereo, it's
For
great.
$3. Yeah.
So
And now it's in cars. I mean, I can't believe that Pandora's built into cars.
So what is
now.
it, like satellite for Pandora now, or just through
over the internet through your cell phone network.
Through your cell phone, when your cell phone Bluetooth it just uses the data.
Can you imagine having your children and you pay for data minutes and they're out running around playing Lady Gaga and you're spending all that money on that data?
Well,
wow.
Tying it back to the mobile thing, you'll notice probably about a year ago, a lot of the mobile carriers started moving away from unlimited data into a metered data plan. So
2 meg, 5 meg, whatever.
But they're giving away text messages and calls now. It's like they don't care about that piece. Now they're only really charging you for the data that you use.
Well, I could see that though, because you're sucking up bandwidth by constant data transfer.
But that's where they're making their money now.
Sure.
It's not even. I mean, it's not even in the calls anymore.
Why do you think they're moving to they're buying up all these prepaid? What's your take on that? Do you think?
Well, it's the industry. I mean, I think it's, as you said, it's where it's the easier way to go. Nobody wants long-term commitments. They want to move around, and they want to really know what their phone's going to cost every month.
And I think really what it boils down to, if you look at the commercials especially, you can change your phone when you want to, and that was a big deal for other people. You had to wait a year. So if you dropped your phone a month after you buy it, you got to go 11 months with this broken phone.
What they don't
How many
tell
of those
you,
have you seen?
Right, is that usually costs more because when you're getting a free phone or even a $200 iPhone,
Upgrade.
that's subsidized by the carrier. So even the new T-Mobile,
Which is why they have the 2-year contract,
Right.
since they pay the phone off.
right. So even the T-Mobile commercials, if you listen, they have a little trailer on the end where you can drop any time, but if you drop, then you have to pay the
for the
difference
phone.
on the phone.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, that's the way I was reading about the new Moto X. That's how that's working too. And in fact, they even Cricket now, $25 you can get a G4 a month. So they just add that to your bill. I don't approve credit, of course, but instead of, well, yeah, I mean,
So
can
back
you
to
imagine?
contracts? Is there a contract in there?
Make sure you throw that in.
Yeah, well, you have to throw that in. I'm not Cricket, so I don't have to do all the legal stuff. But yeah. So anyway, what would be your advice? We'll go back to the virus thing. What more information can you give us as far as safety and what to avoid online?
Yeah, how do you really get them? Just by downloading apps that you don't know where they come from?
No, you can get them download apps. You can get them through the browser. On the web. You can get them
Without clicking and interacting with it, just like opening a page. Because I know there was old school viruses where you just open the page up and you had a
and
virus.
it'll start.
Yeah.
Well, it'll send you to their app page, and maybe you'll download their app. Whatever, however they can get it installed.
So if you see a banner ad to make my phone faster, click here. Do you
right.
recommend not clicking that?
Find my
Don't
phone.
click that. And get protection. I mean, that's really the best thing. Is let somebody else do the thinking for you. Put in an antivirus program. I know ESET has, and I think it's free, smartphone-based, antivirus. It's phenomenal.
Yeah, and
So-
Lookout. I use Lookout.
Lookout?
Yeah, and I think it's made by one of the bigger virus companies. I forget who it is. It ran pretty seamless. My phone, like I said, is a little slow, but I ran it on there forever. Really, where it sped up was boot my phone up. That's why I took it out, because it was taking 10 minutes to boot my phone. It was crazy because it was checking everything.
Yeah.
Once it's running,
Scans
it's
everything.
seamless. Yeah,
Right.
it's not too bad.
Right.
And I do also want to touch upon your computer troubleshooters business. So why don't you tell us a little bit what you do? Give your shameless, your plug for your business. That's why you're here. So let's hear about what you do.
Yeah, I'll try a little. So yeah, I'm with Computer Troubleshooters. We're a franchise of about 475 business owners throughout 28 countries. So we have coverage throughout all the U.S. and international. We do anything from home businesses, home computers, printers, all the way up to small businesses and servers and data centers. We love small business because we are small business. So we know what it is you do and what it is you need to do and how you can get there in the least expensive way and the best technology around.
What do you cover for as far as service?
Oh, we cover everything: networks, antivirus, backups.
And what, PC only, or you
No.
do Apple?
Well, we do
Apple?
servers, Apple.
Okay. So you do commercial end of it too, so you can come into a business and run
Absolutely,
a server farms.
Small
or whatever.
businesses are bread and butter, so
Sure.
that's where we're at.
So speaking business for a minute, why did you decide to go with the Computer Troubleshooters franchise versus, say, going out on your own?
Well, you got a lot of those what we call bandit tech guys, where you can come in and get $35 per hour for service, and I just didn't want to be a regular do-it-yourself, all-by-yourself tech guy. There's a lot of benefits in marketing and understanding how to run your business, in getting 475 people in one group and getting products, at a better price.
Yeah, I was going to ask you
and
about
pushing
that.
people to what you really want, and getting people to develop products just for your business. And so you have that whole network behind you. And if you get into big projects, as a one person, you're stuck. If you get a tech,
you got to hire somebody.
I can
and
use
there goes your
everybody.
bottom line.
I can use everybody in my network. I can use everybody here.
Nice.
So we have 6 to 8 techs here in the valley.
So if you had a 3-man job and had to go reboot
Exactly.
a server
I have
or
the
something,
whole I have the whole company. I can call on for problems if we get it stuck in a certain spot, or we can call on for actual headcount and getting work done.
Right, and we were talking recently. In addition to just repairing computers, you also have the purchasing power with some of the big vendors to do new computers for someone who might be upgrading their office or something like that.
Exactly. And we love Dell. Dell is a great one of our vendors.
good partner. Yeah. Well,
it's
they
a great
build a good
partner.
machine. I mean, for the
think they
price,
do.
really. I mean, especially their XPS system. That's a really high end
Oh
computer.
yeah, they have some. Yeah, and their Alienware. I mean, they have.
Oh, is that them too?
Yeah,
They
bought
did they
out
bought it?
Alienware.
Oh, I didn't know Dell bought them.
Yeah. They sell them right
Well,
off.
if you got $4,000 for a laptop, man, those things are crazy big. I mean, and
Extreme,
they're like
yeah.
they're like 15 pounds because they're twice as thick. 'Cause
double
video cards are
GPUs in
replaceable
there,
and
yeah.
stuff. Yeah, that's pretty. And then when they go wrong bad.
They go wrong.
It's like the Titanic.
And don't forget all the flashing lights they come with.
And the alien head, of course.
That's the alien thing.
You pay for the LEDs.
So, Tomas, how do you balance actually running the business versus continuing education and learning more about computers and staying current? Because a lot of the stuff we're talking about now with mobile, it's all brand new to a lot of people, and I'm sure most people didn't even know that viruses existed on a phone.
That's right.
So
until they're hit with it.
Right. And by the time that they're hit with it, they want to call someone who's an expert in the field and can really fix it for them. And really, the burden is on you to stay ahead of the curve.
Exactly. Again, another reason why we joined the franchise, we have these training sessions throughout the year. We have all the other, all of us as franchise owners are looking at all this stuff. So we get to hear what's really going on in the market and what's everybody's suffering, not only here in the U.S., but in Australia, in Europe, in Mexico, all over the world. We get to hear about what's going on.
Yeah, that's really cool. So it kind of gives you a global perspective, even though you yourself are working here.
I'm just here.
Hey, give your phone number, by the way.
Right.
You didn't give your phone number.
I didn't. Okay. Tomas Parr with Computer Troubleshooters. You can reach us at 480-423-BYTE, B-Y-T-E, or 2983.
Okay, give that again.
480
Just give the number.
423-2983.
There we go. Good. All right. We're going to go to commercial break. We will be right back. Thank you for turning into Resource Radio.